Willow shoots with reddish-brown stalks and green leaves swaying in the wind. A panning shot of the Knife River, which is brown with green banks and bright blue skies. Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site presents traditional fishing methods of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara. Willow shoots swaying in the wind. Park Ranger Darian Kath inside a fish trap in the Knife River.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Darian Kath, interpretive specialist for Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site. I've worked here as a park ranger for 5 years now, and I have the honor and distinction of interpreting the traditional culture of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara peoples.
An image of a traditional earth lodge home from the early 1900s.
And I'm in the Knife River today, and it's not far from where it flows into the Missouri River.
A map showing the Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site, Stanton, and the confluence of the Knife and Missouri rivers.
And historically, this was an important spot where the 5 villages were. 2 Mandan and 3 Hidatsa villages. And within the confines or the boundaries of this park are 2 of those sites.
Earth lodge depressions near the Knife River, or otherwise known as the Sacagawea Village Site.
A few hundred yards downriver from me is the Awatiha site, or the Sacagawea Village.
A big field filled with lots of earth lodge depressions, or the Big Hidatsa Village Site.
And about a mile upriver from me is the Big Hidatsa Village. Well, not a primary source of meat in the diet, fishing was done across the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara people, and there would usually be a few men of the village that would utilize a few methods of fishing in order to supplement the diet of the people of the village.
A man, Pax Wolf, holds a fish scoop at the mouth of a fish trap. A beautiful sunset of pinks, blues, and oranges along the banks of the Knife River.
The Missouri and Knife rivers offer a variety of fish, more so in the larger Missouri, but since we are close to that river, a lot of them tend to swim upstream into the Knife River here.
An image showing 6 different types of fish.
And so there could be anything from sauger, walleye, goldeneye, freshwater drum, white sucker, or most commonly, the channel catfish.
An image of a small gray channel catfish.
A couple methods were used for fishing. One was hook and line.
A small tan hook made out of bone,
whereby someone would carve a hook out of bone, and then as far as line, using either sinew or cordage made from a plant known as spreading dogbane.
A plant with green leaves, reddish-brown stalks, and pink and white flowers.
You could even use the gall of a goldenrod plant, and so there would be a bulbous formation along the stem of the plant, and that could be used as a bobber.
A green plant with a bulbous or round formation in its center.
When it came to fishing with hook and line, a piece of an animal organ, such as a liver or kidney, would suffice. However, when it came to the fish trap, a larger, slightly more aromatic piece of the animal would be used. A large chunk of a putrid animal carcass, didn't matter what kind, would be tied on a line inside of the trap on the upcurrent side of it. So this reconstruction of a trap differs a little bit as to how it would traditionally be made.
2 willow shoots swaying in the wind along the Knife River.
A traditional trap would feature 8-foot long willow shoots about 1.5 inches in diameter.
A man, Pax Wolf, in the water working on repairing a fish trap. Pax Wolf using a fish scoop.
And they're woven together with smaller willow branches to form 4 sections, and that would be built out into the river, and a place where you would be getting about waist high into the river. And as we come around, it's going to be pretty much even with the bottom and built into the bottom of the river. And then on the down current side of the trap will be a door that the person will be able to open and close at various points during the fishing time.
A graphic of the fish trap in the river. A yellow sign flashes on the left-hand side of the screen, which reads, "Bait placed here." Little fish swim from the left-hand side of the screen to the bottom right down current side of the screen into the fish trap.
These traps were used nocturnally, so at night 1 or 2 people would be down here working the trap, but it was a matter of patience, because the way the trap works is the fish smells the carcass of the animal, and swimming around goes in through the door, which is open at that point, and is by then stuck in the trap. And after a few hours goes by, the person comes in and inspects the trap to see how many fish they've caught. And it's just a matter of time before this trap is filled with a few dozen fish.
Ranger Darian scooping fish out of the river, utilizing a traditional fish scoop.
At which point the keeper of the trap is going to go along with a scoop made of willows like this and go and gather around all the captured fish.
A large bunch of willow shoots swaying in the wind on the banks of the river.
Women would help make the traps by weaving the willow branches in the trap walls. They would also help sort out and clean the fish.
A man, good bird, with 2 fish scoops standing in front of the fish trap.
Boys who would be trained by their lodge grandfathers would help transport the willows to make the traps and help gather the fish out of them.
Footage of fish in a fish scoop along the river.
Typically, 2 older men with rights managed the fish traps and would perform ceremonies associated with fish trapping.
A man, Pax Wolf, using a fish scoop while within a fish trap.
The rights would get passed down from generation to generation, but could also be sold outside of a family clan. The 2 men would typically watch the trap overnight. They would be silent and use hand signals as not to scare away any fish. When enough fish had filled the trap, they would carry the fish to the riverbank for cleaning.
Footage of the fish trap in the water.
The angling methods of the Knife River villagers provided interesting insight to the many uses of local resources, both in diet and cultural identity. I invite you to come here and fish yourself at Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site, either by canoe or by hook and line right along the bank here.
Ranger Darian in the fish trap, utilizing a traditional fish scoop. Credits: Traditional fishing methods of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara people. A production by the Knife River Indian Village's National Historic Site, part of the National Park Service. Videographer and editor, Emily Franklin. Interpretive specialist, Darian Kath. Opening and closing song, Along the River by Keith Bear. fish photos by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. Other photos provided by Gilbert Wilson, Emily Franklin, and the National Park Service.